Here's 5 talking points from Manchester United's glorious 4-3 win against Wolves in the Premier League last night. First up, Rashford's road to redemption. Now look, obviously he's had a lot of criticism over the last week or so, and to be honest, I'm quite happy that he went out and scored a goal last night and done the business on the pitch. That's all we've really been asking for. Look, anybody that's not too reactionary and not too out there will say, look, he made a mistake. There's no point in trying to, ostracize him away from the team, from the squad. We need him, and we're going to need him for the remainder of the season. And he done what he needed to do. I think his performance in general was okay. It wasn't spectacular. He got a goal after 4.5 minutes, and a great way to settle in to the game. I think he worked hard as well. His work rate off the ball was quite well. He was influential on that left-hand side in terms of both goals. Man United's first 2 goals, obviously he laid the ball off for Luke Shaw, who then squared it to Rasmus Højlund. So, look, it's a good start, okay, on his road to redemption. But he's going to need to do this on a consistent basis. He needs to put in performance after performance after performance, and he needs to start chipping in with goals and assists. I think he wasn't as greedy last night as we've seen him before, which is a good thing. We've been crying out for passing in between our front three, and I think we are starting to see a bit of a connection between that front three, Garnacho, Højlund and Marcus Rashford, and it's good to see that they're looking for each other now. For an awful long time this season, Rashford was running down blind alleyways and, running into trouble. But he got his head up last night. He looked for the clever ball. He took his goal really, really well. And I'm happy for him. But like I said, it's the first step in terms of, a redemption coming back into this Manchester United team and getting the fans to trust him again. And that will come with good performances and goals being scored. But he's made the right first step, if that makes sense. Number 2. Højlund scores again. Look, he's been criticised since he came to Manchester United, and I think mainly from outside the Manchester United fan base and the media and so on and so forth. He's starting to score goals. He scored in his last 3 consecutive games now for Manchester United, and he scored in 4 out of his last 6 games in all competitions as well. He's starting to score goals, and it's great to see. I was under no illusion that this guy would score goals from the second he walked into the club, from the way he moved, his movement off the ball, getting into really good areas, the speed, the physicality. He's a little bit raw with the likes of his first touch and so on and so forth, and he can be a little bit clumsy every now and again. But that all comes, with the package of a young player. He's scoring goals now, and I'm really, really happy for him. And like I said before, I think the main reason why he's starting to score goals now is because, we're getting the likes of Marcus Rashford, Alejandro Garnacho, Bruno Fernandes, all of the players that are around him are now starting to look for him a lot more. And I think Erik ten Hag has been trying to drill this into this Manchester United team for weeks and weeks now. Start passing the ball in the final third. He's getting into great positions. I've been saying it all season. We're not getting them the ball. There's been plenty of watch-alongs where I've been, furious. I spend a minute or two watching Højlund's movements more than anything else, and that ball just wasn't getting to him. It's now starting to come to him, and we seen last night with his goal as well. There was a massive slice of luck, but he was getting into the right area. You seen when Luke Shaw was on that overlap, when Marcus Rashford laid it off, Rasmus Højlund was boom, he was gone near post. Now again, like I said, big slice of luck for the ball to eventually go off his toe and go into the goal. But if he's not in that area, he's not going to get that goal. It's a real poacher's goal. And he's scored different types of goals so far this season. We look at the likes of maybe Aston Villa and Newport County, where he's sniffing in around for a ball to drop to him. We look at the goal against Spurs, brilliant goal, takes it onto his left foot and buries it into the roof of the net. And we've seen last night then as well, he's getting across that front post looking for opportunities. I'm really happy with what I'm seeing for Rasmus Højlund now. Keep getting him the ball, keep looking for him, and he will score you goals. And he's 20 years of age. He's going to have a bright future at Manchester United. And when you look at some of the youth that's there, Rasmus Højlund, Garnacho, Kobbie Mainoo, who we'll get onto in a moment, we've got some really good young talent there. And these are the types of players that we need to, put our arms around, keep him safe, make sure he doesn't get any bad injuries, stay positive with him. If he will go through, games in the future where he might go 3, 4, 5 games without scoring a goal because he's young, and that's always going to happen with young players. But if we stick with him, stay positive with him, and not, turn the knife too much, I think he'll do really well for Manchester United in the future. Number 3, Onana still a concern. Again, look, Andre Onana and the whole AFCON situation was unwanted noise by Manchester United. I don't think it was handled too well by the club, whoever's decision it was for him to stay. There was an awful lot of negativity around it. He then ends up going to the AFCON and he only plays one game. He's dropped for the final 2 games for a goalkeeper that plays in the French 3rd division, I think. So all a bit kind of up in the air. He comes back last night and it wasn't an overly convincing performance by him, I have to say. For a goalkeeper that's so composed on the ball with the ball at his feet, when the ball is in the air, he is very rash. He came out a number of times there. Only for Lisandro Martinez clearing the ball off the line at one stage, he would have, really been... I mean, Martinez saved his blushes big time. Another kind of area of his game that I don't quite understand is when the ball is coming into him and he has an easy shot to save, he stops the ball and lets it bounce and then kind of gathers the ball rather than just gathering it first time. And it's something that kind of gives me the jitters every now and again. Coming out for corners, we seen it last night, no man's land. And yeah, I mean, it still is a concern. Like I said, I'm not going to be in any hurry to, to say it's time for Andre Onana to be moved on in the summer or so on and so forth. He's going to get the remainder of this season and next season to prove his worth. But again, I go back to what we've said about the likes of Omar Barada coming in, and he says you've got 2 seasons to prove yourself, and if you don't do it in 2 seasons, then we move you on. We know the likes of Anthony is in that situation now. This is his 2nd season. He's doing nothing. Came on last night, looked completely out of his depth as well. So Andre Onana has got to improve his performances because he's not filling us fans with confidence, and I'm sure that is filtering through to his defenders that are playing in front of him. If he continues to make these kind of silly mistakes, defenders are going to be on edge anytime he's got the ball or anytime there's a dangerous ball coming in. So yeah, look, game time. I'm under no illusions that Ten Hag will stick with him, and I think he should stick with him between now and the end of the season to see can he turn it around. And like we've said before, getting a balanced 11 settled is what's most important. Chopping and changing, especially with the goalkeeper. And people are saying Andre Onana should never start again for United. Absolute nonsense. He is still a better goalkeeper than Bayindir. Let's call a spade here. You know what I mean? He is by far a better goalkeeper. We just need to stick with him, and it's up to him then to actually go out, put in improved performances and turn the situation around, because his Manchester United career is not going to last long if he doesn't. Number 4, not being able to control games. This is a big concern for Manchester United at the moment, and it has been the case all season. We've seen a little bit of it on the back end of last season as well, maybe from the Carabao Cup final towards the end of the season. Manchester United were playing well in spells throughout games. Might have a good first half, a good second half, but consistently for 90 minutes this season, we haven't been able to put in, I won't say consistent performances, because you are able to play consistently, but in terms of controlling games, in terms of tempo, in terms of knowing when to slow it down, knowing when to speed it up, that is quite a concern. Now, I do put it down in one area to Manchester United not having an awful lot of depth in their squad. We don't have quality in our squad. We've seen with some of the substitutions that were made last night, Anthony has to come on. Harry Maguire has to come on. Scott McTominay has to come on. These players don't really have the know-how on how to slow down a game, how to keep possession, how to, maybe identify when we should be going, we've got an opportunity to counter-attack here, or, no, they've got 4 players back, we've only got 2 forward, let's slow it down, let's try get it into the corner and, run down the clock. We haven't got that kind of know-how within our squad, especially when we make changes. The likes of, look at Casemiro last night. I think if he didn't get a yellow card, he probably plays a full 90 minutes. But when you have to take him off and bring on a Scott McTominay, you're losing a player with an awful lot of experience that knows how to maybe dictate the tempo of a game. Similarly, when you're bringing off a Marcus Rashford or whoever it may be, even Rasmus Højlund, even though he's young. So I think that is one of the key aspects there. But I think quality within the team more than anything else. And that lack of know-how is what's most concerning. We need to get better at controlling games. When you go 3-1 up against Wolves, or even 2, I know 2-0 is probably the most nervy scoreline you can be at, because if they get one back, then all of a sudden it's game on again. And we've seen that last night twice against Wolves. So we need to be able to see out leads, because if we don't, we are going to drop an awful lot of points again between now and the end of the season. It looks like we're now starting to score goals, and hopefully that will continue. Now, I do have to put an awful lot down last night to the terrible VAR decision. Wolves should have never been allowed back into that game. And I think the VAR decision to award them a penalty, the referee's decision initially, and then VAR not overturning it, allowed Wolves back into the game. However, when you do go 3-1 up, then we also then concede from a silly set piece in a corner, and then they go on and equalise. We have to be able to see games out. And that comes from the training ground, that comes from mentality, and it comes from one or two players on the pitch taking control. When Martinez came off the pitch, again, mentioning Martinez, I hope his injury is not too bad. We've seen him with ice on his foot. But I think if Martinez stays on the pitch for 90 minutes, I don't think we can see 3 goals. We need to have more players like him that are able to dictate the game, maybe control the midfield in front of him, knowing when we were 3-2 up last night, we were sending players up the field on counter-attacks when we shouldn't have been. We were sending players up for corners when we shouldn't have been. It's all down to being able to manage the game and control the game in-game by players that are on the field. And Erik ten Hag has to be able to do that from the sideline as well. Because if we don't between now and the end of the season, like I said, we're going to drop more points. Now, number 5 and last, and certainly not least, Kobbie Mainoo. Manu Magic. And where do we start with this kid? He was up there with man of the match. Now, I think Rasmus Højlund got man of the match in the end, and I'm okay with that, but my God, have we got a superstar on our hands. We really, really do. I'm running out of words to describe this young man. Such an experienced head on young shoulders, and I mean, even before the goal, we'll get onto the goal in a moment, he does everything so simple. Whoever taught him how to play football, needs to be put on a pedestal and shown to the rest of the world and share his ideas with us. Because whoever did teach Kobbie Mainoo how to play football is, has done an exceptional job. Kobbie Mainoo is going to be an absolute superstar. If he, obviously, you need a bit of luck staying away from injuries and so on and so forth. But we've got an absolute gem on our hands. I would be giving him a Todd Bowley contract, 8 years. There you go. We're not getting rid of you. We don't want you ever to leave. Getting on to the goal, I mean, for an 18-year-old to pick up the ball in midfield like that, your backs are to the wall. You've got the crowd are up. They're shouting for Wolves. He gets the ball, takes it so silky smooth around one player, and then nutmegs the second player. And the finish is of a 27, 28-year-old experienced striker, just to open his body and see that far corner and put it into the goal. Absolute world class. Absolute world class. He will do well to score a better goal than that in his career. But, I mean, if he continues to develop and be the type of player that we're seeing already, 8 games now he's played consecutively for Manchester United, and he's going to play a hell of a lot more between now and the end of the season. He's going to be an absolute superstar. And I'm liking the dynamic between him and Casemiro as well. I think Casemiro has allowed him to play that little bit more further forward. And I'm really enjoying it. I really, really am enjoying it. And I'm going to continue to do so between now and the end of the season. He's an absolute superstar. Tie him down to the longest contract you possibly can. I would say now, and let me know what you think, I think he's already a £70 million player. I really, really do. He's that good. And I'm delighted to have him. I really am. But look, 3 points on the board. Happy days, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on all of the talking points that we've discussed here. I'll be back tonight from 8 o'clock for the transfer news, for our Manchester United news show. Transfer window is over now. And of course, we will be back as well on Sunday for the watch along against West Ham. I'll have my match preview for that up tomorrow as well. But thanks for watching. Smash a like on the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you in a bit.